Welcome to the 14th installment of the PMDB 27 series, where I'm getting very close to my 700th milestone, my 700th video in total since joining on April 23rd, 2010, nearly 7 years ago. And I thought in this video I'd look back at some of the things that have changed since then. Over this time period, there's been 3 prime ministers in my country. Gordon Brown was still in office, and then we got David Cameron for years, and now we have unelected Theresa May. We've had 2 presidents, President Obama and President Donald J. Trump. Yes, I'm still not quite used to saying that yet. But I backed Obama in 2012. I did a video for that. And then in 2016, I did mention the US election, but I was sitting on the fence. As far as my favourite movie franchises, there's been 2 Bond films. There's been Batman v nearly forgot The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. Feels so long ago. There was The Dark Knight Rises, Christian Bale's last Batman film, and Christopher Nolan's. And then Ben Affleck took over the role as Batman and was in Batman v Superman, which I don't have. I don't know why I'm looking up here. I'm looking at the films I do have, but I don't have that one yet. It wasn't very good. And then he appeared in Suicide Squad, and Ben Affleck was definitely the gem in 2 bad films. Justice League, I will say, does look kick-ass, and I'm looking forward to it at the end of this year. As for Bond, Skyfall and Spectre, I have them both here. Skyfall was okay, it felt a bit like Home Alone towards the end. And Spectre, oh god, I've still got my price tag on it, $14.99, I don't even think it's worth that. Spectre, I watched again recently, and I watched it with my cousin, and we were waiting for something good and exciting to happen throughout the film. It never did. It was one of the... I'm saying it now. Spectre is the worst James Bond movie I've ever seen in my life. It's just so long and so boring, and just, yeah. I think it's maybe time for a new James Bond. I'm very much available. Speaking of Bond, I actually was in the presence of my favourite James Bond. Sorry, Sean Connery. There you are. He's my second favourite James Bond. He was my first favourite James Bond to begin with, but then I just fell in love with Roger Moore. I think he's great. And he had an evening here in Aberdeen, and I was there, and I got his signature, got a nice book, and what a gentleman that man was, and what a legend he was. It was one of the best nights I had in 2016, and best nights I've had in years. So I've been in the presence of a movie icon, and he done a great Sean Connery. He's got Sean Connery's voice spot on, and Billy Connery's. He can do their voices so well. It actually really sounded like both of them. There's been no Halloween movie. There's been rumours of Halloween movies over the years. I got excited for Halloween Returns, then that got cancelled. But now John Carpenter is going to be producing the next one, and it looks like it's a lock for 2018. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do there. There was a Terminator movie, but the less we mention about that, the better. As for my favourite sports, wrestling and football, let's talk about football, shall we? Rangers. I don't care what anybody says. I've only supported one team in my lifetime, and that's Rangers then, now and forever. It's been a tough time this last few years, but I think Rangers will be great again one day. Hopefully before Celtic reach that 9 in a row, I think they might hit. But yeah, I don't care if Rangers get relegated, booed out of the league again, and start from the third tier of Scottish football again and again and again. I'll always support Rangers, just the one team. As for that other sport, that real sport that is professional wrestling, there's been WrestleMania 27, which had that cool moment with Steve Austin and The Rock backstage, which happened to be the only really cool moment of that particular WrestleMania. It was 10 years after they had their best match together at WrestleMania 17, and 10 years later on, we were treated to John Cena versus The Miz, the second worst WrestleMania main event that's happened in the last near 7 years I've been on here. We'll get to the worst one. Then there was WrestleMania 28, which featured that once-in-a-lifetime match between Cena and The Rock. It was okay. It was good to see The Rock back. I had a epic Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Triple H with Shawn Michaels refereeing. It was great. WrestleMania 29 featured that twice-in-a-lifetime match between Cena and Rock. And CM Punk's last WrestleMania match. He had the best match of the night against The Undertaker. Speaking of The Undertaker, the most shocking moment in wrestling and WrestleMania history. That's happened in my lifetime anyways. The Undertaker lost his streak, going 21-1 to Brock Lesnar, who's one of my favourites, as I've mentioned before. We also had an epic face down between Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan. And The Rock came out too, and it was just an epic moment. And Daniel Bryan got his big win, but I think WrestleMania 30 belongs to the streak ending The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Just that moment was, so shocking and so unexpected, and Paul Heyman really sold it well too. WrestleMania 31, I didn't make videos during the time WrestleMania 31 was on, or 27 for that matter, or maybe I would have mentioned it. But it was actually really good. I really enjoyed WrestleMania 31 for the most part. Sting got buried, but overall it was quite a solid show. The main event, which Roman Reigns was in, was good with Brock Lesnar. It was actually a great match, and had a great moment with Seth Rollins coming down and cashing in his Money in the Bank. Then there was WrestleMania 32, which, looking back on, was probably one of the worst WrestleManias ever, with the worst WrestleMania main event ever. It was terrible. I was quite excited about the Undertaker-Shane McMahon match last year, but it was just a one bump spot, really. And Michael Cole ruined it. You could clearly see him reading from the script when he was commentating that. Just dreadful all around. Austin got the biggest pop of the night, I think, by far. And he's been retired since 2003, and he's past his prime now. And Roman Reigns versus Triple H was just dreadful. Really was dreadful. So yeah, some things have improved over the years. Some things have gotten worse, like wrestling. But there's been a lot of changes over the years, and I'm getting close to my big milestone of 700 videos. And not sure where I'll go after that with this. I will continue. I've been having a hoot lately, uploading videos. Even from a webcam, it's not been that great. But we'll see. I hope you're all having a great weekend. And once again, thank you for all the support.